Department claims some service providers have deliberately sabotaged the delivery of textbooks in Limpopo.
Baby Michael's parents to be sentenced next week for physically abusing him before his death.
Expect stiff fines in Cape Town if you're caught talking on your cell phone behind the wheel.
And the party goes on in Spain for the champions of Europe.
It's 3 o'clock. This is Newsday. A very good afternoon to you. I'm Andrew Barnes.
And I'm Bhavna Singh. Thanks for joining us.
The Education Department claims some textbook service providers are colluding to embarrass the department. In a statement, it says it seems suppliers responsible for delivering books to Limpopo schools deliberately sabotaged that process.
Meanwhile, the Democratic Alliance wants to see all textbooks for 20 delivered to all Limpopo schools before November. A few hundred people marched through the streets of Polokwane to hand over a list of demands to the Education Department today.
In what's been described as a national embarrassment, many schools in Limpopo only received their textbooks last week. The debacle came to light when NGO Section 27 took the department to court.
Last week, the SA Principals Association said many schools had received textbooks on Thursday, but not in the correct amounts, nor were they the correct books. Today's march comes after former Higher Education Director General Mary Metcalf was appointed to verify and evaluate what progress has been made. Let's get some details on that march. On the line from Limpopo, DA Youth Chairperson Mbali Ntuli. Good afternoon to you, Mbali. Did you get the support that you had hoped for?
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me on the show. Certainly from our side, we had enough people from Limpopo who were traced and that actually joined our march. Education Department. So we were very happy with the outcome of the people of Limpopo who came out to support what we were trying to do as a Democratic Alliance. The minister obviously didn't accept our memorandum, but at the last minute somebody who was a spokesperson did come out to hear what the Democratic Alliance was actually saying.
What were you actually saying, Mbali?
We handed over a memorandum where we basically asked for this crisis to never ever happen again. We asked for the textbooks to be delivered for 2013 by November in 2012. We've also asked for the Minister and the Department of Education to give a proper concrete plan about the catch-up plan that now must happen for these children that obviously have not had textbooks for 6 months, going on to 7 months. And we've asked for them to investigate what exactly has happened, where did this go wrong, who is responsible, and how they're going to hold them to account.
From your perspective, what is the cause of this crisis?
There seems to be a number of, from procurement policies of these different service providers to the Education Department here in Limpopo obviously not being proactive enough in making sure that these books were delivered to the schools properly on time and that they were the right books. And then obviously all the way to the top, when we talk about the Ministry of Education itself and how actually failed to make sure that this was all sorted out last year, which is what is supposed to be done for this year. So there's a number of people that need to be held to account. There's a number of loopholes that everybody's using to not actually say how this problem started. But the fact of the matter is we all agree that there's a problem and we need answers now. We have, as a Democratic Alliance, also put this before the Public Protector, and we will continue to be doing whatever it needs to be done in order to get to the bottom.
There's very much a youth problem in Mbali, and as a leader of the youth for the Democratic Alliance, what do you have to say to those kids who are now sitting without textbooks? This is going to impact on their results in the future, is it not?
You know, the very sad thing about this is that most of the children that have been affected by this are children that literally can't even voice out their concerns. These are children that haven't seen a textbook in months. These are children who are unable to even fight for themselves, which is why so many of people that were in this march were young people, because we understand that denying these children their futures can equally affect us, as it's already doing now, because the cycle of bad education or whatever the case has been happening in our country for some time. So it was very encouraging to see that so many of the youth were the people that were leading this march, were the people that were the most angry about being let down once again by our government, and the fact that it was done to learners that are very and are seeing this curriculum for the first time and can't even do anything about it. So we came out in solidarity for them, with their parents, with educators in some instances, and we recognize that it's a problem that the youth needs to stand up for and that the youth needs to take ownership of, which is what the Democratic Alliance Youth has done.
This whole situation has been called many names: the textbook crisis, the textbook saga. Why, if it was such a problem for such a long time, did you take so long to react to it?
I think that this has been on the radar for ages. I think that you'll remember that this started, I think, when the Limpopo government obviously was put under administration. I think possibly that's where there wasn't enough oversight into this matter. It doesn't matter what it's called, basically. The fact is it's a tragedy, and it's something that the Democratic Alliance specifically has been aware of and has been questioning and putting questions in Parliament and our committees. Here as well in the legislature, we've offered to deliver the text, and within 48 hours we felt confident that we would have helped the Ministry of Education to do so. We obviously helped to uncover some places where we found books being burnt and being destroyed. So certainly from our side as the Democratic Alliance, this has been an issue that we've been driving about and questioning for some time now. And I think that the reason that it's become so prevalent is because the minister had agreed that by the 27th of June everything would be sorted out, and once again that didn't happen. And it leaves us very little to be able to do but really lament the situation and protest.
Of course, my last question to you would be, now that you've marched, what next?
The next thing, as I said, is we have put this down, we have reported this to the Public Protector. We are now going to, the Democratic Alliance, along with Parliament, is having an oversight visit here to Polokwane tomorrow. From the Democratic Alliance side, we're going to continue to push at legislature through our spokesperson to investigate what has happened. And we're not going to not continue what the problem has been. We're going to try and engage the minister herself. And, as things unfold, obviously we've also called on Section 27 and other NGOs and other institutions that are education related. And we need to keep the pressure on, because we need to make sure that this happens. We welcome, obviously, the appointment of Mary myself into checking the logistics, but we need to finalize a catch-up plan or find out what the catch-up plan is. And we need to make sure that we involve some educational experts as well now, because this is a crisis that can no longer be remedied just by teachers alone. It's something that now needs to be looked at a far broader scope. So those are the Democratic Alliance are currently investigating and pursuing. But I can assure you and the people of South Africa that we're not going to let this matter go.
Mbali Ntuli, DA, a youth chairperson, talking to us there about the situation of textbooks that's still ongoing in Limpopo.
The couple accused of abusing their child until he was brain damaged will know their fate next week.
Melinda Marshall and Bradley Connor were found guilty of assaulting baby Michael in 2003. He died in 2010. The couple, who appeared for sentencing arguments today, have both been unwilling to admit to the abuse.
As arguments wrapped up, the Johannesburg Magistrates Court heard that a sentence of correctional supervision was too lenient for Melinda Marshall and Bradley Connor. Correctional Services believes the two must be sent to jail for a minimum of 10 years each. The defense for both accused say they are remorseful about what happened to baby Michael back in 2003, where the defense for Marshall argued